If you were like me, you probably woke up one morning and were shocked by the news. We now no longer have just 2 genders, but 5. Sorry, 13. I mean 27, 50, 71, 120.
Pick a number, any number.
Anyway, we all thought the end of civilization would be cinematic, like an alien invasion, AI overlords, or Satan himself in the flesh. No one ever expected it would actually be a group of weird individuals deciding to go crazy and thinking to themselves, let's create chaos. How about we take something everyone loves and make it their worst nightmare? Which they did. So now even coming across a rainbow in the sky makes your mind go, oh no, the heavens are gay too. That aside, I decided to get to the bottom of this glitter-dusted, rainbow-soaked history of the LGBTQ+ movement. To my surprise, this glitter apocalypse that's been shoving rainbows down our throats seems like it's been around forever. It's like a never-ending disco ball of chaos. And trust me, like most of you folks, I'm sick of it. How on earth is there no trace of how this plague originated?
No, actually there is.
Way back in ancient times, folks were already acting like lunatics. In ancient Greece, you had bearded dudes in bedsheets swooning over each other, scribbling love notes like, "Dear Aristotle, your toga makes my heart skip." Meanwhile, in Native America, two-spirit weirdos were flouncing around, claiming they were part man, part woman, part wizard.
Pick a side, dude.
Not to mention what was going on in China. Then the fun police, the churches, and colonial powers rolled in, outlawing all this nonsense. By the Middle Ages, Europe was like, smooch the wrong person, straight to the dungeon. So these freaks went all sneaky, hiding their weirdo vibes and flowery poems and shady paintings.
Why can't you just do things like a normal person?
Fast forward to the 1900s, cities were packed, and these oddballs started forming their little underground cults. In Germany, some egghead named Magnus Hirschfeld started yammering about "don't jail us for being weird" with his Scientific Humanitarian Committee in 1897. Anyway, the Nazis took care of that guy and burned his book.
Good riddance!
By the 1950s, the US had its own secret societies, like the Mattachine Society and Daughters of Bilitis. They were all prim and proper, wearing suits and saying, "Please sir, can we just exist without being fired or jailed?" But the McCarthy era was like, nope, you're all commies. Honestly, these folks were so polite, it's almost annoying, but we've got to give them a thumbs up here. Then the 60s hit, and these lunatics got obnoxious. In 1966, some trans folks and drag queens at Compton's cafeteria in San Francisco lost their marbles over a police raid. Then in 1969, the Stonewall Inn in New York got busted, and instead of behaving, the patrons, probably led by some feather-wearing diva named Marsha P. Johnson, started a full-on riot. By 1970, they're strutting through the streets with pride marches, blasting disco, and waving signs like they own the place. The Gay Liberation Front popped up, demanding the world turn into a glitter factory. And don't even get me started on Harvey Milk, elected in San Francisco in 1977, grinning like he invented rainbows and unicorns. Just when the world thought there was no stopping them, the 80s brought the AIDS crisis. This disease was wiping them out left and right. And let's just say the governments were like, not my circus, not my monkeys. By 1990, millions were gone, and they still wouldn't shut up about it. They formed ACT UP, throwing tantrums in the streets, lying down like drama queens. Even trans weirdos like Sylvia Rivera were out there, helping out while getting ignored by the main gay clique. The worst part, it made people feel sorry for them. Movies like Philadelphia had everyone blubbering, and suddenly countries like Canada and Denmark were passing "be nice to weirdos" laws. I'm over here like, can we go back to when nobody cared? At the 2000s, these rainbow gremlins were everywhere, like a bad rash. The Netherlands kicked off the same-sex marriage madness in 2001, and soon Canada, South Africa, and even the US 2015, thanks to some nosy Supreme Court, joined the party. By 2025, 37 countries are doing this nonsense. TV shows like Will Grace and Pose made it so you couldn't escape their faces. Then the trans and non-binary crowd got all uppity, with people like Laverne Cox acting like they could rewrite science. The acronym bloated to LGBTQ+, because apparently they needed more letters to ruin my life. But finally, some pushback. Bathroom bills, sports bans, and X-posts in 2025 yelling about biology. Thank goodness for a shred of sanity, but these glitter fiends just keep marching. Now, in 2025, it's a rainbow glitter-coated nightmare. Pride parades are like a glitter tsunami, with half-naked dancers and rainbow flags choking every street. Big companies are slapping rainbows on soda cans and sneakers, pinkwashing they call it, pretending to care while counting their cash. Ex-users are screaming, "Pride's a corporate scam," or "Bring back the old rebellion." Meanwhile, over 60 countries like Uganda and Iran still toss these folks in jail, and I'm like,
will you just agree to stop this madness?
they're also obsessed with intersectionality, bickering over who's the most oppressed, race, class, disability. X is a cesspool of hot takes, with one post whining, "Pride's a circus, not a cause." I'd cheer, but I'm too busy crying in a corner while I wonder how the world got so abnormal. So there it is.
I ain't gay, but I do gay.
From toga-wearing weirdos to a global glitter infestation, the LGBTQ+ movement is like a bad disco song stuck on repeat. They fought cops, diseases, and my sanity, and somehow they're still here, throwing parades and demanding everyone join their sparkly cult. I'm begging for a world where rainbows stay in the sky and glitter stays in craft stores. What the heck? Not the kids' movies too. Please, not the kids.